Hi, this is Module 6, and it is Data Analysis and Statistical Reasoning. And this is Tammy, Marissa, and Abby, and I'm Catherine. And for the data, we will be using a bar graph and a box and whisker plot. And we will be, and these graphs are for plotting the Mavs' last 10 games that they've played and their scores. And so we will have 10 data points to use. The bar graph will compare the numbers, and the box and whisker plot will give us information such as the highest and lowest score and the median and the scores that fall in the lower and the higher half. And our question is, what game did the Mavs score the most points in?
Okay, so I did the box and whisker plot, and to start off, I went ahead and drew our plot, but we'll get to that in a second. So we have our data set, and I went ahead and ordered it from least to greatest. So we have 90 points, 93 points, 95, 100, 101, 107, 107, 109, 113, and 113. So to start off, we need to find the median of this data set, so we're going to mark off one number at a time from the highest side and one from the lower side. And you're left with 100 and 106, and the median between that will be found by adding 101, 106, dividing by 2, which is going to give you 103.5. So we're going to go ahead and mark that on this. We have it counting by 5, so we have 100, 101, 102, 103.5. We're going to go ahead and raise that up here, and we're going to label that median. Okay, and then to find we're going to go ahead and label our low, which would be 90. This is our lowest. And we're going to label our highest also, which is 115. To find Q1 and Q3, we're going to find the median from the lower half, then the median from the upper half. So to find the median of the lower half, we're going to mark off one number at a time from each side, and that leaves us a median of 95 for our lower quartile, which will be labeled Q1. So this is Q1. Now we do the same with the higher half of our numbers. So we're going to mark them off one at a time, and we're left with 109, which is our median, or Q3. So I'm going to go ahead and label that right here, Q3. We box those together, then we extend our whiskers to the lowest, and we extend our other whisker to the highest, and that is our box and whisker plot.
And the box and whisker plot is for 6th grade, and the bar graph will be for 3rd grade.
Okay, so I'm going to do the bar graph, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to name it. It's going to be the Mavs scores in games 1 through 10. Then we're going to, over here is going to be the scores, and we're going to be counting by tens. And then down here is going to be the games. So in the first game, they scored 113 points, so we're going to put it right here. In game 2, they scored 107 points. In game 3, they scored 93 points. In game 4, they scored 95 points. In game 5, they scored 100 points. In game 6, they scored 101 points. In In game 7, they scored 106 points. In game 8, they scored 90 points. In game 9, they scored 113 points. And in game 10, they scored 109 points. So Tammy's going to come over here and analyze our graphs.
Yeah, so I'm going to analyze the data found in our graphs, and I'm going to interpret the results for y'all. Okay, so to analyze the data means to examine the information to see what was found. So, looking at our graphs, I can see that there were some games where we hit triple-digit scores and some games that we hit just double-digit scores. And so by looking at all the data, we can see that 7 out of the 10 games we hit triple-digit numbers, and then the 3 games left, we hit just double-digit scores. Okay, and to interpret the results means to explain what the information tells us, and the information from the graphs tells us that the Mavs are more likely to hit triple-digit scores in a game than they are to just get a double-digit score based on the data that we looked at, because 70% of the games were triple-digit and only 30% were double-digit. So based on that information, we know that they're more likely to get over 100 points, or 100 at least. And then our question was, what game did the Mavs score the most points in? So by looking at our bar graph, we know that whichever game has the highest bar, that'll tell us which one had the highest score, because the higher the bar on the graph, the larger the score. So we can see that game 1 and game 9 had the highest bars at 113. So game 1 and game 9 had the highest scores for the Mavs.
And to kind of go farther into why we use this box and whisker plot with this set of data, it would just help us see how spread out our data is, or how close together it is. In this case, it's pretty spread out because our numbers range from 90 to, that should be 113. So our numbers range from 90 to 113, but the most of our numbers are between 95 and 110.